When people looked at Isabella Munro, they saw perfection, the perfect smile, mansion, life. But behind designer sunglasses, a deep wound remained. Born into wealth, Isabella was the only daughter of Charles Munro, a self-made real estate tycoon, and Victoria, elegant and adored by tabloids. Everything seemed untouchable until the scandal that destroyed her life. When Isabella was 15, her mother vanished without a trace. After a stormy argument, Victoria packed her things and disappeared. No note, no goodbye. Silence. Rumors swirled for years about her running away. Her father never spoke of it again. He buried himself in business, while Isabella was sent to Swiss boarding school, raised by money, not love. Years later, Isabella grew into the woman headlines adored, intelligent, magnetic, ruthless. She inherited the empire at 28. Munro Estates became a billion-dollar corporation. She appeared in Forbes, hosted charity galas, and dated celebrities, but inside, she felt nothing. Until one night, everything changed at a charity gala at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Chandeliers sparkled, cameras flashed. Isabella walked the red carpet. Across the room, she saw him. Ethan Black. Not rich, not arrogant, standing quietly in a black tuxedo with a glass of whiskey. When their eyes met, the world disappeared. There was something familiar, a pull she couldn't explain. Her pulse raced for the first time in years. "Miss Munro," he said, calm yet warm, "you don't look like a woman enjoying her own party." She tilted her head, intrigued, and he smiled. "Not like she's waiting for someone who never came." The words pierced her facade. They spoke for hours, long after cameras stopped flashing. Ethan ran a non-profit for missing children. He wasn't wealthy, but he was real, grounded. Everything Isabella's world was not. Over weeks, she grew drawn to him. He ignored her wealth, her fame. Walking barefoot on beaches, laughing in diners, she felt alive again, but secrets began to surface. Ethan avoided questions about his past. Sometimes his gaze carried sadness, as if reminded of a loss. One evening on her balcony, Ethan asked softly, "Do you ever think about your mother?" She froze. She never told him about her. "How do you know?" she whispered. "Everyone knows about the Munros," he replied, yet hesitation lingered. Something he wasn't saying. That night she searched him online. Ethan Black. His foundation, articles, but personal life details were scarce. One story. His sister disappeared at 12. A missing sister, a lost mother. Two broken pasts now intertwined. Isabella had him investigated discreetly. Results made her blood run cold. Ethan Black wasn't his real name. He was Ethan Munro, her half-brother. Her mother hadn't disappeared. She left to raise another child. Tears blurred her vision. The man she'd fallen in love with wasn't a stranger. He was the living ghost of her family's secret. She avoided him, cancelled meetings, hid in her mansion. He sensed something and came to her door. "Isabella, talk to me. What's happening?" "You lied to me," she whispered. "You knew." "I didn't. Not at first," he said, voice breaking. "I wanted to know why my mother left me." She wanted to hate him, but her soul couldn't. Deep down, she knew he was truthful. He left that night, silence returning like before. Weeks later, media whispered about her absence. Munro Estates' stock fell. Then came the blow. Her father, Charles Munro, suffered a heart attack. At his bedside, he said, "Your mother never left you, Isabella. I drove her away." Shock and tears filled her. She finally understood. Every missing puzzle piece fit: her mother's disappearance, Ethan's pain, years of silence, all caused by pride and heartbreak. Charles died weeks later. Isabella inherited everything: empire, fortune, and sins. She disappeared for 6 months from the public eye. Then a photo appeared in the New York Times, Isabella Munro beside Ethan Black, announcing a billion-dollar foundation for separated children. Caption, "From tragedy to hope, the Munros reunite." Behind the smile, a storm brewed. The story wasn't over, not yet. 6 months after disappearing, Isabella Munro returned to New York. The world thought she had healed and rebuilt, but the truth behind her eyes was darker than any headline. She spent months searching for herself and understanding forgiveness. Side by side with Ethan, they built their foundation from scratch, visiting orphanages and donating millions. To the public, they were symbols of unity and hope. Behind the cameras, their relationship was fractured by a truth they could never escape. Every time Isabella looked at him, she saw the man she loved and the brother she could never have. Every smile revealed guilt, longing, and forbidden love. One evening after a long day, they sat in silence at the foundation office. Rain tapped the windows, city lights blurred by drizzle. Ethan spoke softly. "You know, sometimes I wish we'd never found out." Her heart tightened. "Found out what?" "Who we are," he admitted, voice breaking. She stared at him, unable to speak. "I wish I could still believe we were just two people meeting by chance, two souls supposed to love each other." Tears welled in her eyes, but she held them back. "Don't say that." He smiled sadly. "We can't rewrite the past, but maybe we can still make something good from it." That night, she sat alone in the dark. The rain became a storm, thunder shaking windows. She poured wine and stared at the city below, lost in memories. She thought of her mother, her father's last words, the cruel game life had played. A woman who had everything had lost the only thing she truly wanted: pure love. Days turned into weeks. The foundation grew. Media adored her comeback, but Isabella felt emptier than ever. Ethan tried to stay close, but fate kept them apart. They were scheduled for a gala in Washington, celebrating the foundation's anniversary. Isabella wore black, hair pulled back elegantly. Ethan seemed distant, distracted. Halfway through, she followed him outside. Cold air hit her face. He stood by the fountain, gazing at the sky. "Ethan," she whispered, "what's wrong?" He smiled fragilely. "Do you ever feel like the universe punishes us for something we didn't do?" She frowned, confused. "What are you talking about? You've rebuilt everything, but me, I don't know who I am anymore." She stepped closer. "You're Ethan. You gave hope to thousands of children." He interrupted. "The man who fell in love with his sister." Her breath caught. "Every day I try to forget, to see you as family, but I can't." "I'm leaving," he whispered. "What?" she said, frozen. "I bought a ticket to South America. I'll work remotely for the foundation. I can't stay." "No," she said, voice shaking. "You can't disappear again. If I stay, I'll destroy you. You've built something beautiful. I won't be the reason it burns." Before she could speak, he kissed her forehead gently. "Goodbye, Isabella." And just like that, he was gone. Silence returned, heavier than before. The next morning, she found his apartment empty except for a single envelope. Her name, handwritten. She tore it open, trembling. "You said love makes us human, but maybe it also destroys us. I'm setting you free. Maybe in another life, we can start again, without our parents' sins." Isabella sat crying silently for hours. Days, weeks, months passed. The foundation thrived. She became a public symbol of hope, but her eyes told a different story. Then she received news. A plane from New York to Bogota crashed in the Caribbean. No survivors, among them Ethan Black. Her world collapsed. She flew to the crash site, joined rescue teams, searched lists of names, begged for a miracle. The sea had swallowed him whole. He was gone forever. After the funeral, she disappeared again. Months passed. The mansion stood empty. Rumors spread that she'd left the country, hiding in Paris or Italy. 1 year later, a journalist found her in a small coastal town in Maine. A modest cottage by the sea, no luxury, just silence and waves. When asked why she gave up everything, she smiled softly, because love isn't about possession or power, it's about truth, and sometimes truth hurts more than anything. Asked if she regretted meeting Ethan, she looked at the horizon. No, even though it destroyed me, it also saved me. She sat by the water daily, holding a locket with a photo of Ethan smiling, holding her hand on the day their foundation was born. Every evening, she whispered his name to the wind, as if the sea could carry her love to wherever he was. Years later, when Isabella passed quietly in her sleep, the world mourned her as visionary and philanthropist. Those who knew her saw a broken heart beneath her strength. At her funeral, she was buried near a small lake by her childhood home. Headstone: Isabella Munro. She turned pain into purpose. Beside it, a smaller, unmarked stone remained unnoticed. Only a few knew its meaning. Years later, a diver found a ring engraved I.M. and E.B. and sent it anonymously to the foundation. No one claimed it. The legend lived on, the billionaire and the man who shared her blood and heart, forever bound by a love never meant to be. Some called it tragic, others poetic. To those who listened, it was proof that even the richest cannot escape fate. Isabella Munro taught one thing: love in all forms is the strongest force. Even in pain, she left a mark. The woman who had everything, lost it all, and still gave her heart to the world. If you listen now, remember her, not as billionaire or scandal, but as a woman who dared to love against all odds. Sometimes the most beautiful love stories are also the most heartbreaking. The end.